Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Christine here if you're new. Welcome. I am a homeschooling mama of 3 and I share homeschool content on this channel. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please go ahead and subscribe. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the series from Simply Charlotte Mason, Laying Down the Rails. How are you doing? You'll coping. I mean, if you're watching this well and truly after the pandemic, you're probably wondering what the heck I'm talking about. But for those of us who are currently living this fun time, how are you doing? I had like a total meltdown last week. I was over it. Like I was done. But we're doing okay this week. Yeah, but looking forward to lockdown being over. Anyway, total side note, but just wanted to check in with everyone. Let me know in the comments down below how you're doing at the moment. I am going to be sharing with you today something exciting. That is Laying Down the Rails from Simply Charlotte Mason. This is something that I heard of. I don't know where I heard about it the first time, but I know that I've heard it talked about over on the channel Rooted in Rest. I love her channel. I love a lot of her philosophy. But I don't think she was the first person I heard it from. But anyway, if you want to see more videos about this kind of like stuff, then go ahead and check her out. I'll link her channel here. But I ummed and ahed about getting Laying Down the Rails for our homeschool. And I'll talk to you a bit about what it is, where you can get it. I'll also do a flip through for you so you can take a look and see what it's like. And yeah, what my thoughts are behind it all. We've been using it now this is our 5th week using it. And yeah, I've formed an opinion about it already. Surprise, surprise. So basically what it is, Laying Down the Rails is about habit training, which sounds very odd. Habit training your children. But really, what I love about this is that it is so logical. So it has been developed by the team over at Simply Charlotte Mason. I love their website. And obviously everything that they produce is based on the Charlotte Mason philosophy. So a lot of people who have never looked into it think that Charlotte Mason is a curriculum. It is not. It's a teaching philosophy. It's a life philosophy founded by a woman named Charlotte Mason, who was a school teacher back in the 1800s. And there's like varying degrees of people who follow her philosophy. I am definitely not a Charlotte Mason purist. I would say I'm more Charlotte Mason inspired. I love a lot of the things she talks about, but it might not look exactly the same as she would have intended in our home. Like I just pick and choose. That's what I love about homeschooling. It's very versatile. You can, it's flexible. You do what you believe is best for your family, your kids. But this is from the Simply Charlotte Mason website. And I bought these books. I bought the PDF version and then I printed them at home. Now this book isn't too bad. This is actually 2 books combined and it was almost 600 pages. I have the Epsom EcoTank 4750 and it handled it beautifully. It's all like black and white inside. So yeah, but the EcoTanks are amazing for like their printing abilities. They just don't go through ink like a standard printer does. It's incredible. I've printed probably about 2,000 pages on mine now, and the ink's only like halfway used up. It's incredible. So I'm denied about getting this. I'd heard about it, like habit training, and I was like, I don't know. And then I don't know what it was that kind of pushed me over the edge, but I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it. So I looked at the sample pages, liked what I saw, and decided to go ahead with the purchase. And here's the reason why. So I can't remember how many habits there are. I'll see if it'll give me like a quick overview. There's a heck of a lot of them though. And it's broken down into categories. So there's like proprietary habits. I cannot say that word. Propriety habits, mental habits, moral habits, physical habits, and religious habits. And there are a lot of them. So this book is intended to use over your child's entire childhood, basically. You could use it so we're studying at Jack's 5 now, and by the time he's 18 or whatever, we would have gotten through it all. I like that you can pick and choose the habits that you feel your children really need to focus on, but Charlotte Mason does specifically point out 3 that she feels are kind of the most important. I don't know if she specifically points them out, but I think that through her writings and stuff, they seem to be the ones that stick out the most. And they are attentiveness, truthfulness, and obedience. So we actually started with obedience. That's the first habit that we've been focusing on. And the reason that I decided to do this is because I know what I want my children to learn. I know the habits that I want them to develop, but sometimes it can be really hard to be intentional about that when you're just living your daily life, when things are kind of hectic and crazy. I mean, my kids are all little. Jack's 5, he's my eldest. Annie's 2.5, and Charlotte's 18 months. So things are kind of chaotic in our home most days. And it can be really difficult to be intentional about working and developing certain character traits. And so I liked that I could purchase these and we could make it part of our weekly routine. Now, it does stipulate in these books that your child is not going to learn this. These books are not what's going to teach your child these habits. Daily living is what's going to teach them that. But I like that because I'm intentionally focusing on it a couple times a week, it's just more at the forefront of my mind. And it means that I can really hone in on that. And I'll see those opportunities for teaching my children in everyday life even more so because it's like right there. So what you need is the laying down the rails, I think it's the handbook. Yeah, Habits Handbook. So this is what would be considered like the teacher's guide or whatever. It's not really a teacher's guide per se, but it's your manual. So for every habit, there's like a section in here that you can read. And what they've done is they've taken all of Charlotte Mason's writings and compiled it into here. And so like you would go to obedience. I think that's page 96. So here's obedience, and it's got like for every lesson plan, it's got 1, 2, 3, and it correlates with this workbook that you do with your kids. So you can read a little bit about the lesson and just have a more in-depth overview. I like it because it's short and sweet and to the point. It's not overly heavy. I just like read up on like a Sunday night. I'll go in and read what we're going to focus on that week. And oftentimes before we do our lesson, I'll just quickly refresh it. Some people would say you don't need this. I personally think you should get it. It's not very pricey. And I will put links to these. They're not affiliate links, but I will put them in there so you can go check them out and have a look. And they do have sample pages, like I said. You can buy the books in hard copy. I just opted not to do that because shipping from like international shipping is always astronomical. So then you've got this workbook that you focus on with your child. And I will see, I didn't put a bookmark in here, so it might take me, I have to come back and find where we're up to. Okay, as I said, I'm going to be doing a flip through, so hopefully I'll be able to show you this close up. But basically, you've got a section at the beginning that is for the parent, and you can write down your goals for the habit that you're trying to achieve, additional things that you want to add in, activities you can do to practice the habit. There's a whole section there. And then it breaks it down lesson by lesson, what you're going to do every time with your child. And the lessons are short and sweet, but I love that it teaches through literature and just general conversation. So this could almost be like a devotional in some cases, and it is scriptural based. So there is reference to scripture. I mean, you don't have to do that, but I mean, we're talking about religious habits and moral habits and things like that. So it definitely does have a scriptural reference to it. So if that's not something you want, then it might not be right for you. But I've really enjoyed it. So we're onto our 5th week. So what they suggest is doing it over like a 6-week period, working on a habit. So we started with obedience and we're up to our 5th week. And so my kids are really little, and there was one lesson which required not a super lengthy reading, but a little bit of a lengthy reading. And so I decided to incorporate that into like a poetry tea time. And so I set up like a whole tea time for us, and my kids ate their food and drank their tea while I read to them, and it worked really, really well. And we just do this at the beginning of our school day twice a week, and it has been working beautifully. It's brought up some great conversations. It's made my children more aware of being obedient, and it just has put, it's made me more aware of how I'm responding to my children, what I'm expecting of them, and just consistency on my behalf. Like not letting them get away with things just because I don't feel like getting up and dealing with it. Do you know what I mean? Because I think we all get there. At the end of the day, it's kind of like the kid's not listening and they're trying to negotiate their way out of something you've said, and you're just tired, and so you give in and just say, okay, whatever, just leave me alone, you know? And so trying to hold myself a lot more accountable. So I've really, really enjoyed it. from that standpoint. And I have really loved this because, one, it's logical to me. I love that it focuses on, like, as the parent, teaching your child a habit makes it a lot easier for them to behave in a good way. Because habits, once you've formed a habit, you're not mentally having to process. There's not as much decision making in things. And so if it is a habit to do the right thing, it saves your child so much stress and just time and all of that, because it's already a habit ingrained into them. But I also love that it focuses on not just teaching your children habits, but actual character development. So they're doing it because it's the right thing, not just because they've been taught to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's working on their hearts. And that is a parenting philosophy that I really, really adhere to, that I don't want my children to be obedient and be rule followers just because. I want them to do it because they want to do it. And so this whole system teaches them to not just understand what the right thing is to do, but to question it in a respectful way, and to have just constructive dialogue and conversation. And that is something that I really want to foster. It's something my own parents fostered. You know, we were taught to obey our parents, but there was always room for discussion and conversation after that. And I don't want my kids just to be sheep. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to obey right away. I want them to be respectful to authority and stuff, but I don't want them to do it just because. I want them to understand why they're doing it. And so, yeah, I love this. I'm like really excited about it. I'm excited to move on to the next one. And I like that we can circle back. Like, if my kids are struggling with something in particular, we can circle back and focus in on it. I also love that it's a family thing. So I'm not like pointing out a flaw in my child and making them feel embarrassed or like cornered or anything. We're working on this together as a team. And also, I like that I can use it in a way where we're holding each other accountable. So all of us are kind of working together instead of it just being like one person struggling with something. You know, we can lift each other up and support one another as a family. And I really, really like that. So that's my overview of the Charlotte Mason laying down the rails. I think it's brilliant. I highly recommend it, especially if you have really little ones. You can definitely start this with older kids. It's not something you have to start at day dot. You can start it later on. But if you have little ones, I would recommend it. It's a really gentle way of character development, character training. And I'm a huge advocate of education just being part of life. And so I've recommended this to friends who don't homeschool because I think you can easily incorporate. This is just living. This is part of parenting. It's not, you know, we sort of like focus things into being like, this is school and this is parenting. Whereas in my mind, it's all the same thing. You know, like, I teach my child to use the potty when they get old enough. Why can't I teach them to read? You know, like, it's all just part of the same thing to me. And of course, there's going to be like special things where we're going to need outside help. But it's still parent-directed and parent-led. And so, yeah, this just works really well with my whole parenting philosophy and how I like to do things. I highly recommend it. So let me know if you are a Charlotte Mason fan down in the comments below. Have you used any of their stuff? We're going to be using more of Simply Charlotte Mason next year in Jack's first grade curriculum. I didn't pull from it so much this year, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be using it for science, geography, Bible, and history next year. So I'm looking forward to, I'll be doing more videos on that, but of course we're a while away from there just yet, but I will be doing some more videos about Simply Charlotte Mason for sure, and maybe even like art appreciation. I need to look into more. I mean, the more I see that they have, the more I want to like get stuff. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this constructive and helpful and informative. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Also, come and check us out on Instagram. I have just recently renamed my Instagram to This Homeschool House. I've had that Instagram account for forever, but I wanted to have more of a homeschool focus on it. So I've changed the name of it, but it's still the same old account. It's just me putting more homeschool content on there. So if you want to follow along, you can see a little bit of our day-to-day living. I will leave the link to that also in the description below. Okay, I will see you next time. Bye-bye. What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars.